Lisbon, famous for its bright colors and yellow trams, went dark in the early 1990s. A killer appeared, bringing fear to the city. The newspapers called him the Lisbon Ripper, a name that made the city shiver. The crime started in 1992, pulling Lisbon back into fear and suspicion. The killer chose the Zona da Mata de Benfica, a place on the city's edge. His victims were easy targets, often ignored by society. Fear spread from Benfica to the heart of Lisbon. The killer was like a ghost, always one step ahead. The city held its breath, waiting for answers that never came. The shadow over Lisbon grew darker every day. The Ripper's presence was felt everywhere. Even though no one knew who he was, Lisbon was changed forever. The horror began on July 31, 1992, when Maria Valentina, known as Tina, was found killed in the woods of Benfica. She was a young sex worker, her life already hard. Her death was brutal, choked, then horribly cut up. At first it seemed like a tragic, isolated crime. But in January 1993, Maria Fernanda, another sex worker, was found dead in the same area, killed the same way. A pattern was clear. Young women, all sex workers, all found in Benfica, all killed in a chillingly similar way. By March 1993, a third victim was found. The city realized a serial killer was stalking its streets. The newspapers called him the Lisbon Ripper. Fear spread across Portugal. The Ripper targeted the most vulnerable, using the system's weaknesses to disappear. The brutality was matched by cold planning. The city's fear grew as the pattern became clear. The Ripper had left his mark. Lisbon would never be the same. The Lisbon Ripper's crimes were known for how horribly precise they were. Each victim was choked, a quiet, close act, then cut up with a sharp object that couldn't be traced. The killer took out inner organs, just like the famous Jack the Ripper. The cuts were clean, done on purpose, and showed he knew about the body or had a disturbing interest. Police and doctors who examined dead bodies were shocked by his skill and control. The Ripper took trophies, organs that were never found, a scary sign of serial killers. For the police, these missing pieces were like a challenge, proof of the killer's confidence. The brutality was not random. It was like a ritual, a signature left at every crime scene. The killer left no clues, no connections to the victims except the violence. He was like a ghost, known only by the horror he left behind. The city was left with a terrifying question. What kind of person could do this? The Ripper's signature was clear, but no one knew who he was. The ritualistic violence haunted Lisbon, a reminder of evil hiding in the shadows. The city's fear grew deeper with every question that wasn't answered. The Polícia Judiciária started a huge investigation, but the Ripper always stayed ahead. Hundreds of people were questioned: sex workers, drug users, anyone near Mata de Benfica. The victims' last hours were put together, but clues disappeared into silence. The world these women lived in was secret, and fear kept witnesses quiet. Technology was limited, DNA testing was just starting, and outdoor crime scenes were easily messed up. The killer left no fingerprints, no weapon, no trace. Suspects were arrested, hope rose, but there was never enough proof. Many ideas came up: a foreigner, a butcher, a medical student, even a soldier. Every lead led to nothing. The killings stopped as suddenly as they began. After March 1993, the Ripper disappeared. Did he die, go to jail, or simply stop? The case went cold. The police were left with only questions. The city's fear stayed, not solved. The Ripper had outsmarted everyone, becoming a legend. The investigation became a symbol of failure and frustration. The killer's identity remained a ghost story. The city was left haunted by what it couldn't solve. The shadow remained long after the murders ended. Lisbon's biggest mystery was left unsolved. The Lisbon Ripper didn't just kill. he changed the city's heart. Fear spread from Benfica to every part of Lisbon. Women avoided the streets at night. Trust between neighbors broke down. The families of the victims were left with sadness and no justice. The killer was never caught. The pain never went away. The victims, already looked down upon, were let down by society and the newspapers. Public trust in the police fell apart, especially among those who were easy to hurt. Many believed more would have been done if the victims were from rich families. The case became a wound that never healed, a dark part of Lisbon's history. Life went on, but the memory stayed. The Ripper's name became a word for horror and unsolved fear. The city's shared memory was forever haunted. With no answers, Lisbon's imagination filled the empty space. Rumors spread. Letters to police, secret groups, powerful plans. The Ripper became a myth, a ghost story whispered in the city's bars and cafes. The Mata de Benfica turned into a place of legend, haunted by tales of shadows and whispers. The killer's story became dark folklore, told to new generations. These legends showed the city's deepest fears. The Ripper was no longer just a man, he was a symbol of the unknown. The myth continues, showing how much the case affected everyone. Decades later, the Lisbon Ripper case is still unsolved. The time limit for solving the crime has passed. Justice is impossible. The killer, if alive, walks free. A final, cruel twist. The case is studied as a lesson in failure and how far justice can go. The story lives on in books, documentaries, and Lisbon's identity. The Ripper is the city's most famous ghost, a shadow that never left. The violence stopped, but the questions never did. Lisbon's wound remains open, a mystery with no final ending.